What's good, everybody? It's your boy 5 Wars Deke. It is playoff time. The Atlanta Falcons, number 1 seed, 12-4, NFC South champions, home field advantage, or better known as dome field advantage. The playoffs run through the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta. Beat Seattle. They're 10-6. They're the 2 seed. They will have a bye week as well. Minnesota will host Green Bay. Now that's going to be interesting. Minnesota, NFC North champions, but Green Bay right there at 10-6. They had a chance to become the number 1 seed themselves, and they fell from 2 to 6. And they'll have to play the entirety of the playoffs on the road after slipping all the way down. So they'll be playing Minnesota in Minnesota. That's going to be a pretty good one. And then Tampa Bay heads to Philadelphia. An 11-5 Tampa Bay team plays the Eagles, who honestly I thought they were going to have a losing season, but the rest of that NFC East was just trizash. So we've got a good wild card round. I said last week that Green Bay was most likely the team that Atlanta was going to see. We don't know yet because I haven't even started the simulation of the wild card round. We will do that in just a second. But right now we're just kind of going over who made the playoffs and you know, the wild card matchups. Carolina 9-7, a winning season, missed the playoffs. And on the AFC side, honestly, the number 1 and 2 teams are very typical. It's the Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts in 2004. That makes the most sense in the world. They have the first round byes. Baltimore is going to host Buffalo, and Denver is going to host Tennessee. Wow. And how about this? Kansas City missed the playoffs with an 11-5 record. Imagine winning 11 games and missing the playoffs because the AFC is that good. Oh my goodness, I wish we could just watch each AFC playoff game because, wow. 11-5, 12-4 wild card teams. You really had to win 11 or 12 games to even make the playoffs. Well, you really had to win 12 because 11-5 didn't make it. Ooh, I feel bad for Kansas City. They got to be sick. Win 11-5. So taking a look at the injury report, it looks like Des White will be back if Atlanta makes the NFC Championship. Out for 2 weeks with a torn bicep. That makes 0 sense, but a torn bicep is only a 2-week injury, I guess. Corey Hall has been on IR for like 5 weeks or so already with a torn bicep, so like the same injury. I guess the severity of it's a little bit different. I'm not totally sure. Beasley fractured his arm, 7 weeks, and then Kevin Mathis torn calf muscle, 8 more weeks. Taking a look at the team stats real quick because it is the end of the regular season. The Falcons had the least amount of yards, 4,083. There were players who passed for more than that. I'm looking at Peyton Manning. Only 2,500 passing yards, an average of 8.5 per passing play. Over 1,000 rushing yards, so I'm happy with that. And then total yards allowed by the defense, 2,936. Total passing yards, 2,235, which I think is the best in the NFL. Let's find out. Yes, it is. That is the best in the NFL. Rushing yards allowed, 701. That's got to be an NFL record. It's got to be an NFL record. Like, I didn't even have to sort that. I knew the Falcons had the best rushing defense in the league. Only 202 first downs allowed. I think that's the best. Third down attempts, third down conversions, only allowed 61 of those conversions. That's 57%. I don't know if that's the lowest in the NFL. It is not, but it is top 10. It is top 10. The Falcons had the most red zone touchdowns, tied with Seattle, which is why last week's game was so important to win because those were really the 2 best teams in the NFC. 6 red zone field goals. I like that we scored way more touchdowns than field goals in the red zone. Needed that. The defense was only backed into the red zone 17 times. I love that. Only backed into the red zone 17 times, gave up 6 red zone touchdowns. Pretty on brand for Mike Vick. 2,492 passing yards with 12 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. But that obviously is just passing. That does not include his rushing numbers. This is where Michael Vick shined. 728 rushing yards. That led the Falcons, followed by TJ Duckett with 598. And how many touchdowns? 13 for Vick, 13 for Duckett. So there you go. Michael Vick had 25 total touchdowns and just 8 turnovers. He did not fumble the football. And he did not obviously lose any fumbles. So 25 touchdowns is perfect. That's fine. He had more rushing than passing, which is fine with me. I mean, look, the brother does his thing through the air. It's just that when Atlanta gets inside the 20, they're not passing that much, right? It's give the ball to Duckett or let Michael Vick cook because the defense is worried about Vick dotting him up. So as long as you score and you score more than your opponent, I'm good with that. Peerless Price, nearly 1,000 yards on 52 catches this season. Des White, 480 yards on 21 catches. Brian Finneran, 459. Michael Jenkins had 416. Algie Crumpler only caught 7 passes for 109 yards. That's good for like a game. A game. TJ Duckett had more catches than Algie Crumpler. I'm pretty sure Crumpler's going to want to trade, which I don't mind that. We don't really use a tight end in this offense, but we are changing the playbook next year. So the offensive coordinator is going to get let go. We're going to get a new playbook. This playbook, if we're going to start dotting people up, we can't have the playbook we have now. And let's just hope it doesn't bite Atlanta in the butt in the playoffs here. Des White, obviously, the most touchdowns receiving for the Falcons, 6 of them. 3 of those came against the Saints. Well, 4 of them came against the Saints, but 3 of them came in the first half of that first matchup against the Saints in the Georgia Dome. So that's where a bulk of his touchdowns came in. Peerless Price had 3. Jenkins had 2. Finneran had 1, which came in the opening game of the season at San Francisco, and that was it. And then Goodwin had 1, and he's the backup tight end. He caught that touchdown against the Saints in garbage time. It was already 35-0, and the Saints decided to call timeouts instead of letting us take a knee. So Matt Schaub decided, you know what? Let's do it then. Nuck if you buck. Went ahead and threw it to Goodwin, and he scored a touchdown. So that's how he got his 1. Ellis Johnson led the Falcons in sacks. He had 8. Patrick Kearney had 3. And Jasper had 2. Edward Jasper, he's the one who wore that 95 before Jonathan Babineau. Stewart, Smith, Coleman all had 1. D'Angelo Hall, the rookie, 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick 6 in his first year as an Atlanta Falcon. Jason Webster had 2 picks, the 2 biggest interceptions of the season. The first one against the Giants, that sealed that game. And then the second interception in Tampa Bay in a 7-3 defensive game. And because of that interception, Atlanta got the NFC South back. Got it back in blood from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Etrick Pruitt had a pick 6. He had 2 picks this season as well. Keith Brooking had a pick. Chris Draft had a pick. And Allen Rossum also with an INT. It looks like Michael Vick is going to the Pro Bowl. Atlanta will be represented by their quarterback after the Super Bowl, whether Atlanta makes it or not. This was back in the days where the Pro Bowl was the final game of the year, not the Super Bowl. The Pro Bowl now comes a week before the Super Bowl, but it was the opposite back then. Michael Vick got over 1 million votes. Over 1 million votes, I think, right? Yeah, let me put the commas. Yeah. That's 1,065,314 people voting for Michael Vick. And Joey Harrington, really? Over 1 million people said, we're going to put Joey Harrington in the Pro Bowl. Okay. And then Donovan McNabb will be the number 3 guy. That's hilarious. Unfortunately, TJ Duckett did not make the Pro Bowl because he fell off. We stopped really running the ball. So Sean Alexander took the title there, followed by Amon Green and Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis is in the Pro Bowl. And just in case you did not see the player awards given out at the end of SportsCenter after the Week 17 game, Peyton Manning is your MVP, 324 completions for 4,333 yards, 39 touchdowns. Congratulations to the Vol for life. Your Offensive Player of the Year is Steve McNair, 289 completions, 3,718 yards, 26 touchdowns. Your Defensive Player of the Year, Ray Lewis, 105 tackles, 14.5 sacks. There's a reason he's in the Hall of Fame. Big Ben Roethlisberger is your Offensive Rookie of the Year. 268 completions on 476 attempts, over 3,700 yards and 30 touchdowns in his rookie year of 2004. And your Defensive Rookie of the Year, DJ Williams. 4.5 sacks, along with 107 tackles. Your rushing title belongs to Corey Dillon. 1,500 yards on 320 carries, 6 touchdowns, including a 98-yard touchdown scamper. He also caught 8 touchdowns out of the backfield. Go ahead, brother. And of course, the only title missing is the Super Bowl MVP. Don't know who that is yet because there hasn't been a Super Bowl yet. But of course, we're about to start the journey to Super Bowl 39. The Falcons will be in the divisional round. Let's go ahead and find out who they're going to play. All right, so Tennessee took down Denver 27-9. We had a very defensive matchup, with the final score being 9-6. Wow, 9-6. Baltimore over Buffalo. Tampa Bay, of course, beat Philadelphia 24-21. Tampa Bay is the better team there. Green Bay took the L by 2 points. They took the L. So who does that mean the Falcons are playing? Let's see. The Falcons, oh my goodness. It's the Buccaneers, y'all. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming back to the Georgia Dome. They want to get their W back in blood. Oh, man. We got to play these cats for the third time. I was really hoping we wouldn't get that. I was really hoping that wouldn't happen. Okay. All right. That's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We going to handle business. We going to handle business. It's your boy 5 Wars Deep. Until next time, one love. Sports Center starts now.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Chris Berman. Well, let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Vikings come away with a 2-point nail-biting win. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey? Jamal Lewis rushed for over 50 yards and helped his Ravens beat the Bills. Steve Air McNair stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. And in our final game, we had the Buccaneers come away victorious. And before we leave you on this special wild card edition of NFL Primetime, let's hand out a few game balls to our primetime players. That'll do it, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for joining us in the Bristol studios. We'll see you for the division championships here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.